Hi everyone, it's Viktor speaking, and I'm here today with Tsveti to discuss the Mars and North Node conjunction in Gemini, which is actually taking place today. So we might be a little bit scattered, but that's just down to the energy. So sorry about that. How are you doing, Tsveti?
Exactly as you mentioned, so scattered, I'm all over the place, having so many different ideas. I don't know which one to follow. It's like 1 minute this way, the other minute that way, and all of them look so fascinating. I just can't pick up.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the traits of Mars being in Gemini. You know, Mars is all about passion, Gemini about ideas. So we need to slow down sometimes, or maybe just to write them down. But let's start with looking at what Mars means in the sign of Gemini. Even though Mars has been here since the 3rd of March, and it's going to be here till the 23rd of April. But it's good to summarize what Mars in Gemini means. So what would you say it means?
Well, first, I would like to say what Mars generally is, and it represents the warrior within us. Actually, this is the god of the wars, and it means dynamic energy, battling to achieve what we want, drive, ambition. The actions that we undertake in order to achieve our goals that we set. And actually, the sign in which Mars is will show how we are going to achieve these certain goals that we have. And because it's Gemini, so Mars in Gemini, Gemini is the sign of communication, speaking, writing, skills. It rules the hands as well. So it will be Mars in Gemini will represent definitely us achieving our goals through talking, through negotiating, through communicating with others, through having the overhand in a conversation, and even be competitive, a little bit aggressive, because Mars also represents this type of energy in communication in Gemini. So these types of stuff, and because Gemini is also really the most curious of all signs, I would say Mars in Gemini could be like we'll have to deal with this type of scattered energy, because it will want to go everywhere, to cover everything possible, to discuss any topic, to collect any information available, to read all the books possible, so that, and it's a bit insatiable in that sense. And yeah.
You know what's exciting about this Mars in Gemini is that obviously Mars spent 6 months in the sign of Aries
Yeah.
because due to its retrograde motion, and then it spent 2 months actually in Taurus. So finally, Mars started picking up its normal speed. And whenever Mars goes retrograde, or it is a lot slower than its average movement, which is about zero point 0.4 degree a day, then Mars is frustrated because that is all about action and let's go and speed. While, for instance, Saturn, when it's moving faster than its average speed, which is about 0.02 degree a day, then it's against Saturn's nature. So the good news is that Mars is picking up, so our motivation level could be picking up as well. And yes, because at the end of the day, we've got so much air element going on currently. It is an aspect which is calling for freedom, and Aquarius does rule over people. So somehow we are getting forced to start communicating with that Mars, and probably it's going to be a lot more potent when Moon is going to be in air signs as well, because then the people itself going to trigger that communication angles here. So, and that one of them is around the 6th of April. So when Moon is going to be in the sign of Gemini. So that could be a little bit of a more hectic when people want to be speaking up. And, another thing which I would like to mention from a technical perspective, that Mars has moved from its detriment position into a neutral position. So, while Mars was frustrated in the sign of Taurus and it was kind of a slow burner, now it is actually somewhere, it's in a sign where he feels okay. It's neutral, nothing exciting about it. It's not the most volatile one, but it doesn't really show its benefic sides either. So, most probably if we are having some type of emotional blockages, this Mars can help here to overcome especially the mental blockages rather than the emotional one, because neither Gemini or nor Mars are very emotional energies at all.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree. And look at me. This is, I think, my third video this month. And I am usually not such a talkative person. It takes some time for me to prepare and do things. And now I'm like doing it immediately. It feels good, by the way.
And
So,
that's Mars in Gemini, because we might be seeking out for more interaction with others, or we
yeah.
want to be reaching out for information or providing information, or maybe this is the period of time when you just want to be grabbing books, and maybe a book you have badly wanted, and you just want to be reading and gaining. But this energy is quite flexible at the moment. So the silver line is that we can get very scattered with it. People can be a lot more adaptive and accommodating as well. But we want to be making sure that we don't want to be doing plenty of things at the
Yes.
same time, because nothing is going to get finished. And
Yes.
that's the silver line with Mars being in the sign of Gemini.
Yeah. And sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to add that maybe we need to also be careful not to say too much and do too little. So we need to really focus and follow what we say we will. Otherwise, we become blubbers
Yeah.
in a way. Mm.
On a personal level, you guys need to be looking at where Gemini is in your natal chart. And that's the house which is going to get the most active in the next 1.5 months. So, and that's the area of life where you can initiate something new, or maybe you talk about those things, or just to talk up about your rights. Mars hasn't been here for 2 years. It takes 2 years for Mars to make that zodiacal circle. And finally, it is energizing something in our chart, speeds things up a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
This is kind of the energy now when you can go from 0 to hundreds miles an hour very quickly if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also we need to be watching out for things like rumors and gossips. We might become the victim of those, or we go on social media and it's going to be full of basically crap, and you don't really know which one to believe, and our mind can go into different directions, because Gemini represents something to do with your thought patterns and how you
Yeah.
process the information. So, your mind can be very active. Gemini is very analytical. Mars does have got the analytical side as well, because it's the strategist. So there is the possibility to make a plan. You just need to be putting it on a piece of paper, because you can easily lose those thoughts, which later on actually you might benefit from.
Yes, absolutely. And because we currently only have Pluto and Uranus, which are collective planets in an Earth sign, so maybe we will really need to do some grounding for ourselves more often with this Mars in Gemini. And also because Gemini actually rules youthful kind of energy, and it's again, can be really scattered and not so much focused. It's very analytical, as you mentioned, but still we need to have this grounding and to be able to differentiate what really matters and what's valuable to follow and what's only on the we should be left on the side. Indeed. So prioritizing and having a clear focus will be very constructive in this sense. And sitting down to write down your thoughts is actually a way to materialize and to become grounded indeed, because we connect to something which is really earthly, not in the head, but we use the hands, which is ruled by Mercury and Gemini again. So using the hands to express our thoughts is really grounding. So I think it's a great advice to follow.
Yeah, and apart from that, Gemini does rule over newspapers and social media and the marketing and the PR segment. So those can be a lot more active in the next 1 month, especially when North Node conjunction takes place as well. So I would be recommending for people to watch out for scams, because this is
Yeah.
usually a period of time when people are actually trying to scam you and get money out of your pocket, giving you false information. So I'll give you an example. I've been trying to open my bank account in Sofia for 3 weeks, and it is still not working for technical reasons, and I get this information, I get that information, and that's really Mars in Gemini. So for instance, one of the bank assistants told me, well, do it yourself. I was like, okay. So I went to a different branch instead. But, this is exactly what Mars in Gemini kind of represents. So I do expect some type of quarrels and issues around social media, maybe a gossip, maybe something which is going to go viral. Maybe for good or bad reasons, because this is a neutral Mars here, but something can pick up quite badly, and it can also cause frustration and quarrels between people. So another advice I would give is try to cut yourself out of those situations, because it's not going to lead you anywhere, basically.
Yeah, and especially maybe with siblings as well, because Gemini rules siblings and Mercury as well. And right now, even though it's already a separating square, we had a square between Mercury and Mars. So any type of confrontations and or any type of discussions and negotiations with siblings, maybe it's a better idea to postpone for a later moment in time. So that when the energies will be a little bit more stable and calm, and yeah, and even if the square from Mercury and Mars is already separating, Mars is heading up to a square with Neptune, which can again lead to further deceiving information, not really, not really seeing the important details, missing something, which will actually lead to some loss or miscommunication, which will need to be fixed at a later point.
Just a couple of examples. For instance, if you have got Mars going through your 10th house, which is very much about your profession and workplace, then the workflow can be quite quick paced, quite snappy, detail orientated, and maybe plenty of little tasks and errands to run. So this could be a very busy period for those people. Maybe you have got at least 2 different irons in the fire as well. And somehow the workplace is going to require you to be more flexible and multitask and being adaptable. So it could be that you're going to have to do something at the very last minute, or the deadlines are coming up quicker, or they bring the deadlines earlier than it was originally. So there is an element of a frustration here, or maybe you're going to have to take on a role which you have to study about very quickly because someone might have left their job, and you're going to have to explore new territories. Gemini does talk about learning, studying, and picking up skills as well. How do you feel about if Mars, for instance, is in the 7th house?
Well, when Mars is in the seventh house, it will be all about relationships, and not only with a partner in a family situation, but also with any type of business communication. So it can indicate that either business partners will become more verbally aggressive and will be really aggressive to start and competitive to really start some negotiations, communications, being in a hurry to complete things and tasks and multitasking, thousands of meetings with business clients, or you can become a little bit more pushy to be business clients, because it can manifest in both ways. But you should always be remember to be careful, to really check the information and to take your time to focus on what's really important, on a few maybe things that you want to follow up until the end, and not to start like thousands of tasks and then getting lost
Yeah.
among them all, and thus leading to some problems probably with business clients as well, because you will not be able to follow up on what you promised to deliver in a way.
In
So
any
yeah.
type of relationships, especially the close ones, we do need to be careful, because I mean, we need to choose our words carefully, because we are all a little bit fragile now, and sharp words can injure others. So the tongue can be a little bit too sharp nowadays. Or another downside of this is that we can talk way too much, but not about the important things, and we might forget to listen to the partner. And this Mars in Gemini could also indicate some high-strung nervous system as well. So it could be agitating for the other person as well. You know, from a medical perspective, especially if you have got Mars in the sixth house, just pay attention to inflammations in your fingers, hands, arms, shoulders, or even your lungs. You can have some flare up of your asthma, or just you can be extremely nervous. And of course, the spring is here. So those who have got chronic asthmatic attacks, they really need to watch out for these Mars in Gemini periods. You know, Mars does rule over stress. So especially those ones who were born with Mars in Sagittarius, this Mars in Gemini period could be quite a challenge, because the last 2 years of Marsian energies could be popping up back on the forefront. And this time around, you might need to start speaking about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes. And also, Mars in Gemini, I think, will make people more prone to any kind of accidents because of this scattered attention. Because it's like, I think I heard you mentioning an example of a teenager driving a car while texting. And I really liked it. And it's really so compatible with this Mars in Gemini energy, because it definitely takes our attention. Everything is really nice to see, nice to learn about. We're so curious, turning head left and right all the time, not focusing on the road. And yeah, so we need to really find a way to ground ourselves and to remain more focused, so that we manage through this Mars in Gemini transit in a more positive way.
Exactly. You know, we do need to be paying attention to road rage,
Yeah.
or even how fast we are driving that car, because
Mhm.
there is a possibility there is going to be more ticket controller out there.
Oh yeah.
So Mars does rule over Scorpio, which is all about police force and any type of controllers, and Gemini rules your tickets. So, but also you might feel the need to be joking around with others, and it could cause you some type of trouble, for instance, because as I said, people are a little bit sensitive. And I would also say that Gemini does rule over business transactions as well. So if you want, you know, this is a brilliant period of time to launch a business actually with that Mars, which is giving you kind of a fire in your belly. But as I said, pay attention to fraud and schemes as well. but we've got so much trine going on to Aquarius. So, I feel like one of the hot topic of the next 1 month is going to be about censorship and, whether we can speak freely or not. Yeah, I've already mentioned this a couple of months ago on my channel, actually. And a few weeks later, there was this issue in Australia about the Facebook and how much we can speak freely and so forth. And I feel like this Mars and North Node conjunction is going to get a lot more active once Mars is going to be in the sign of, once Mars is going to be in the sign of Aries, or at least not Aries, sorry, when the rest of the planets are going to be in the sign of Aries as well. So like Venus and Sun right now, and then Mercury is going to be joining very shortly as well. So that Mars gets plenty of attention. And Mars is somehow the hot topic this month because it's making aspects to every single planet in Aquarius. And the next one is going to be Jupiter very shortly on top of my head. So we've got Mars, and Mars energies all over the place.
Yes, absolutely. And also, now that you mentioned this censorship and freedom of seeking freedom of expression, and I'm also thinking that the Aquarius is also, as you mentioned, the humanitarian sign, and it's also related to human rights in general. So also this topic of the freedom of movement and the basic human rights that we have. I heard on the news maybe a couple of days ago that this vaccination passport was rejected in some of the countries because it actually was cutting off some of humans' rights. And I think it has something to do. There was some really hot communication on the topic, and finally human rights won for some of the countries at least.
At the end of the day, Saturn is the superior planet over Mars, and Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius. So we as a collective right now are quite strong. And, that Mars in Gemini just kind of supports the idea to get people together. But also there is another meaning to Mars, which is your erogenous zones, right? So the sexuality as well. So, at the end of the day, we can have plenty of desire, and maybe it's not just the action itself, but we might want to be having mental stimulations with our partner. So maybe a text message, or, this aspect could really talk about the meeting of the minds. And that could be the biggest turn on. So those are who are single out there, this could actually be a case.
Yeah, and also Gemini stimulates our curiosity. So even those who are not single, curiosity may be triggered in a big way and try out something new. And, you never know. So
yeah, absolutely.
Some difference, something new, totally.
Let's not forget Mars is all about activities. So we can do plenty of workout, moving around, jogging, running, so it's actually very good to kind of start new health regimes as well with this. Or Gemini rules over websites. So if you want to be building a channel or a website and you want to be spreading the word about your your own desire or about your channel, actually this is a very good period of time, because probably people will be more curious to listen to podcasts or read. So actually it's a lot easier to find your own channel as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you mentioned physical exercise and things, I was thinking Gemini rules the hands. And maybe because we will need to calm down the mind, maybe we can use our hands to channel energy in a way. And those Tai Chi movements that we know are slow usually, but they actually channel the energy. I think they might be really useful in that period of time, because they will help us calm the mind and focus the energy to a place where we want it to go. And with also this Mercury Neptune conjunction at the moment, together with Mars in Gemini, it can help us visualize and really manifest in our head, because Gemini is a very mental sign, what we truly want, and then visualize it with the help of Mercury and Neptune, and make some really great progress in our meditations and kind of meditative states, and which actually aim to calm the mind. But the mind can be used here because it's really active. So maybe just integrate it in that sense into our practice.
This is a brilliant time to learn new skills.
Yes.
Gemini is all about studying and courses, and Mars is putting the effort into something new. Gemini is a hot and wet energy, Mars is a hot and dry, so there is something in common, which is the heat. And heat is all about initiation, new cycles, starting something
Yes.
new. So I feel like this combination on a social level really could talk about some type of movements. And unfortunately, it could lead to strikes as well. So that's the very negative side of it. But again, with all those positive aspects from Aquarius, this could be something which is in a long run work out just quite nicely. you know Ladies, don't be surprised if you start getting chatted up, for instance, in the street. By the way, in ancient astrology, Gemini was so much to do with sexual energy, because it was not about the twins, it was about actually a couple. The symbol of Gemini was a couple. So it could talk about, some people who want to be flirtatious, or even sometimes a little bit pushy as well. So, maybe there is going to be some type of scandal about some sexual stuff, or maybe a video is going to get released about someone important, and that's going to be the gossip. But there is a highly charged sexual energy in the air as well with this Mars in Gemini.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Is it a
Gemini
good
is
period for administration tasks? What do you think?
it's going to be quite challenging, I think. But though if we manage to really focus on what we want to do, we can complete a lot, definitely. Otherwise, Gemini is a mutable sign, just like Virgo, which rules administrative stuff, administrative thinking. So they're in a square naturally, these two signs. So we really need to make sure we are focused on the details, and then we can complete really a lot of tasks.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
how about trading and
Yeah, I
buying
think
and
it's
selling
a
things?
wonderful. I think it's a wonderful time to actually develop trading, because communication will be on a high focus, and you will be able to actually persuade the clients. You will be able to negotiate, and if you are a bit more reserved or shy and not really able to speak out, you will have this energy within, coming from the outside. It will be supporting people in these professions. And because Gemini rules these types of professions, communications, advertising, marketing, anything related to communications, writing, speaking, as we mentioned, so trade, commerce, I think that these professions and these fields will be really highlighted, and there will be a lot going on there. Lots of
What
movement.
happened in the last Mars and North Node conjunction? Did you look that up?
Yeah, I actually did. In the year when this was the year 2002, and this was actually when the euro became the official currency of the European Union. So saying that, thanks for asking, I totally forgot, I checked it. So saying that, I think that we also, Mars in Gemini is also teaching us how to adapt to new things, how to become more flexible, how to be more accepting of anything which is new, because yeah, sometimes we can become really fixed and not willing to change. And Mars in Gemini is actually giving us a glimpse of how we can actually accept changes and just let them be a part of our life and manifest the good side of change as well.
Yes, and you know, it could indicate something in the financial industry easily with
Yes.
this Mars in Gemini. Obviously, the previous Mars North Node conjunction in Gemini took place in 2002. And as you said, the euro became the official currency of the European Union. So we should be expecting something in the next one year, especially, or maybe 2 years, the next 2 years around the financial department or even around the EU as well. Maybe another country is going to be leaving the EU. Very, very possible with this energy. But yeah, as you said, it's very good for trading and buying and selling things. But we can go overboard with it because these two energies are very hot. So we tend to be not thinking with it. And that's the downfall of Mars in Gemini. It
Mm,
speeds up the thought process of Gemini even more. You know, we do need to be paying attention to fights with our siblings and neighbors. Those are also Gemini ruled territories, or something to do with the local community. Maybe we want to be defending the local community, or it might be about promoting actually the local markets. Um, but we can have polarities of opinion with
yeah.
this. So, as you said, this is very much about the warrior spirit. And Mars is all about standing up for justice, and maybe in a localized environment, because Gemini rules those type of you know, issues. And Mars dilemma in Gemini is that, shall I be active or shall I use my logic?
Mm,
Right? And
yeah.
how can I switch off my mind? Because it's going to be quite hard. Your brain is going to be running 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Gemini does look for the practical truth. So Mars wants to kind of boost you there to kind of look for your truth. And you might go on and on about it, and you forget to pay attention to others.
Yes.
It's very, very possible with Mars and that Mercury energy that
Oh,
shoplifting is
yeah.
gonna be, you know, a lot more significant, especially in April,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
right.
guys,
And
watch out for your pockets and stuff like that.
yeah, because Mercury, yeah, it's such a trickster. And they will want to, and especially when in Pisces, it's quite deceiving energy. You know, I'm coming to ask you something and playing out to be compassionate, but at the same time, I have some background thoughts and other intentions. So really, yeah, we need to be careful with that as well.
Do you have any remedies for Mars and North Node conjunction in
Um,
Gemini?
Remedies, except for finding a way to ground ourselves, whatever works for us. You know, sitting down, as we mentioned, writing down your thoughts and really trying to figure out what's really valuable in the long run. And also, when we are in a conversation or negotiations, we try to also listen to others and not only jump on their head, you know, not only competing to say more, because yeah, it's also important to be able to listen because we might miss something really, really valuable and important. So kind of appreciating others as well would be a nice thing to do. And also, as I mentioned, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which also rules the hands and the breath as well, maybe doing some breathing exercises, using the hands. And when we feel really overwhelmed, just sit down for a while in a quiet place somewhere to really find our peace of mind, you know, to find peace within. Even if for 5 minutes, I think it will be really important to be able, because Mars in Gemini, it stimulates the mind so hard and so intense it doesn't know when to stop. It's a hot energy, as you mentioned, and we need to give ourselves the conscious permission to stop here and there and to really calm down and, you know, play some beautiful music, because we have this conjunction in Pisces. Play a song that we like, or, you know, just spend some time alone even, and yeah, stuff like that. Or stay without the phone for half an hour or an hour, as much as we can afford ourselves. Just stay away from any device or mental stimulation coming from the outside, so that we can really become clean for the next wave, because it will come. The next wave of information, I mean.
Absolutely. You know, for instance, yesterday, thank God I had a spare laptop charger, because my doggies ate 3 of them so far. And so the last time I bought 2, but this time around, they didn't touch the laptop charger, but I think it burned down. Because one of my sockets is a little bit funny now. And so anyway, and then I recognized that my laptop is not charging 20 minutes before the Horari course started. And I started panicking when kind of it came to my mind that, oh, it's underneath my underwears, there is a spare one. So yeah, so some of the technological stuff could go wrong as well. You might want to be paying attention to that. So don't plug in anything, you know, for a long time, because something can overheat. But, you know, going back to our remedies, you know, any sort of exercise is actually a good idea, especially in small groups. And now I'm not encouraging anyone to, you know, social gatherings and stuff like that, because I know in many places it's not allowed. But, you know, maybe going for biking with your friend, or walking your dogs in the park, and these type of things are very good for this energy. Or writing out your frustration, for instance, because you don't want that frustration to get stuck in your body. You can actually put that down on a piece of paper, or it might be about calling up a friend of yours when you feel agitated, or just about learning new skills. And by the way, talking about skills, I'm going to be doing a 16-week or 18-week vocational course starting on the 18th of April, where we're going to be talking about what type of job you could be doing, and also the financial world, investment, and the money aspect of that. But the reason why we need to be careful with these you know, with these energies, because there is North Node on the side. And the North Node is all about amplifying things.
Yes, it's
Right? So it
insatiable.
amplifies the Marsian energies wherever Mars is in your natal chart. So for instance, Mars currently is going through my 4th house, and Mars does rule my 9th and the 2nd house as well. So it can amplify those 3 areas in my chart. So have a look at what it does in yours. And with North Node, we can go greedy, or we can go overboard, because the North Node carries this Jupiterian energy around it. So use this North Node Mars conjunction to achieve something which you have wanted for a long time, but maybe you didn't really have, you know, a chance to do that. North Node does have got these material desires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree absolutely. I actually have a natal conjunction of Mars and the North Node, and Jupiter as well. They're a conjunction of 3 of them, and I can absolutely, confirm that what you said is so true about the North Node. It really amplifies the ambition. It amplifies our hunger to achieve things. And depending on the house where Mars falls, actually, it will put a highlight, a focus on this area of life, as well as where Scorpio is, because Mars also rules Scorpio, as you mentioned. So use this drive, this ambition to really manifest into this area of life, and maybe bring some project to life that you have been wanting and thinking about for quite a long time already. because Mars haven't been in Gemini for 2 years, as you mentioned before. So it's a good opportunity. Or maybe use this really huge mental energy stimulation to think about the project, to to think the details of the project, and to see what could work, to communicate with others, to see their ideas on the project that you want to actually manifest. So I think it's a good time to just drill for information and energy to gather the whole picture in a way.
I don't really want to scare anyone, but with Mars North Node conjunction, injuries and accidents are
Yeah.
very likely. Especially when it comes to driving and travel related matters. So no wonder why these type of, like what you just said not long ago, that it got refused to have this travel passport type of things. But also watch out in the kitchen. Mars does rule anything to do with
Nice.
your kitchen. So bruises, cuts are very likely also.
Yeah.
Mars rules over operation. So we do need to be careful about, maybe something an accident which is ending up as the need for being operated. It doesn't need to be manifesting that way, but at least it can represent some type of conflicts with others. And when the Mars and the North Node are together, there is this insatiable hunger. So, and it kind of never gets satisfied at all, or we never can get enough of doing something, or we always want to be extremely busy and not paying attention to things, or we want to get involved in things. And, we might get very obsessed, North Node,
Yes.
with reading or talking or expressing your opinion, or your mind can be very stirred up, and that's really the danger of this Mars and North Node conjunction.
Yeah, and North Node is also related to kind of breaking the rules. So it might trigger Mars to act in a, to deceive others on purpose, and to break some rules in order to achieve your goal, because the North Node is ruthless in that sense. Actually, if we remember the myth, he actually deceived the gods. So fake it till you make it. So deceiving others that you are something that you're not, and then getting into the energy of doing it. So yeah, we should be aware of that as well.
On top of that, North Node does represent karma. So whatever you do, this could be kind of accumulating new opportunities for you, which is gonna maybe unfold in the near future. And these could have quite long-lasting impact, especially in the next 3 years, no, actually less than 2 years period for you. So you need to be taking advantage of this powerful energy and pouring this energy into something creative or productive or even constructive, and because you can achieve some of your goals, or you can bring out the potentials. You can unlock new abilities within yourself, and it's not just physical, not purely physical things we're mentioning here, but something which is mental as well. So at the end of the day, we've got a kind of a 19-year period closed down with that Mars and North Node energy in the sign of Gemini. So you can start something new. So we might be seeing new businesses popping up, which is going to be determining the next 2 decades, or new ways of transactions. Maybe the digital currency is going to be popping up a lot more in people's mind, and so forth.
Yeah, and maybe a new social media, a new, yeah, some new channel of communication. And also I would like to only remind that the South Node is actually in Gemini, and the South Node would represent kind of the basis, what we should use in order
South
to
Node is
develop. In Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
Yes, sorry if I said something else. Mind is quicker than the mouth. Again,
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. But yeah, because the South Node is in Sagittarius, then we really need to remember our long-term goal when we act. That's what I wanted to say, because we need to use the South Node to let go of something old, something which was previously a long-term goal, and acquire a new one, but always keep the eyes focused on the big picture. And because this is a very long cycle that you mentioned from the conjunction on. So yeah, remember the long-term goal. That was what I wanted to say.
And it's going to definitely play out, because the South Node at the moment is ruled by Jupiter, and Mars' next aspect is going to be Jupiter.
Yes.
So it is definitely going to be playing out. You know, that exact trine between Mars and Jupiter. So it was with Saturn recently, and we spoke about that in the previous video. And now it's going to be to Jupiter in about 8 unit times. So the next 8 days, maybe we're going to have to release something, but the 8 unit time can also represent 2 to 8 week period as well. So, you know, we've got so much Mars focus here. So use the positive manifestation of Mars.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have anything else to mention?
I think we covered quite a lot, so not really. Yeah, maybe with Mars in Gemini, we can continue talking forever.
Oh, yeah, and we have been talking for 50 minutes, I guess.
Yeah,
so
it's like insatiable energy, as we mentioned. So it's a clear example. Like, we usually do half-an-hour videos, and now it's almost an hour already. So maybe just put an end and finish it.
Then I'm going to cut it short, like Mars in Gemini would do. Thank you, everyone, for watching us. And if you would like a reading with us, then you will be seeing the links in the description box. And if you like the video, don't forget to give us a big fat like. Thanks, everyone, and see you with our next video about the new moon coming up soon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and
Bye-bye.
good manifestations. Bye.